welcome to Kenyan Baby Mama. It's another week. I hope you guys had a great week and weekend. And so we are at the start of a new week. So today we are going to talk about dowry or bride price as it pertains to people who are single and were once married or engaged, or to whom bride price had been paid, or guys who had paid bride price for their exes. So if you're African, this whole thing of bride price is not new. Dowry is something that has been done for ages, and um, it's still very common. Not even, let me not say common. I think it cuts across. Like, if you're African, I know if you're Kenyan, it does not matter which tribe you come from. There's always there are different rules from different cultures, but bride price is something that is very real in our communities. Now, what happens is, like in my culture, if someone had paid bride price for you, and maybe you were not even legally married, but they had paid bride price, uh, once that is paid for, it means that that person is your spouse, that they're your husband or wife. So there are rules of how to dissolve that relationship. And in some instances, in some cultures, they actually give back the bride price to the man's family, because in African society, mostly it's the man that wants to marry a girl who pays. That is called bride price. They're the ones who have to pay the dowry to the girl's family. And so if that relationship is dissolved, it means that in most cultures that bride price has to be given back to the man's family. However, today the man's family can decide, you know what, we don't want, like some people in my culture will say, you can't give us back the bride price because it was not a one family contribution. Like there are different members of the family, the extended family, who are involved in raising the money to pay for the bride price or the dowry. So they can decide, okay, we're going to dissolve this relationship. Some cultures have some really, really deep ways of breaking the union. You know, there is slaughtering of animals involved. Some bones are broken, just to symbolize that these people are now officially, traditionally divorced or separated, and now they have permission to move on and marry other people. But now what's happening in today's society is that a lot of people don't pay attention to the dissolving of that former union by breaking that union and taking back the bride price, or at least having a sort of like a ceremony or a meetup where they now talk with the families, and they're like, okay, this thing has not worked, so we have found it fit to just break this union officially. We know bride price was paid, and that means that she was our daughter. Now she's no longer our daughter. She's free to move on and marry and move on with her life. And a lot of people don't follow those things. And so the danger, or rather what I have seen this happening, and it's something that, because we're becoming westernized, and so a lot of people will move on to another relationship, maybe even do a church wedding, and not deal with that bride price issue that was paid. And sometimes this can make it hard for you as the lady to move on into a healthy relationship with your new family, because it's like you're still tied to the other family. And the thing is, Africans, as much as we embrace church weddings and you can go to the AGs and get a marriage certificate, if that union is not broken at that family level, it can cause a strain for you and in your new family. And it can also affect, if you have children with this other person, it can affect how how your child or children relate with that first family, because there will always be that tension of, it's like you got married a second time without permission from the other family. And in some cases, they actually still consider you as a wife to your ex. until that whole thing is resolved. And I think I appreciate traditions, and I'm all for us keeping with traditions, but I think that's one of the things that can be a real hindrance to moving on. And then it's not easy to break that union that you have with that other family once dowry has been paid. It's not easy to break that union, and sometimes one family might not be willing to break the union. A friend of mine was telling me about a story of a friend of his who, I think it was not even a friend, I think it was a relative, who was caught up in that dilemma where the two met later on in life and they fell in love, but because she had been paid for bride price by her ex-husband, and he had also paid bride price for his ex-wife, they were not given the blessings by their families to get married. And so it got to a point where they kind of fell apart with their families. They moved in together. It's like more like it's a rebellious thing. And they just were like, you know what, we love each other, we want to be together. We don't understand why this one thing means that now we can never have a life and enjoy happiness and enjoy love again. And so they moved in together, and they got kids, and then they even secretly went into the AGs and got married, and it worked for them. I don't know, I think it depends on the family that you come from, because like for my situation it was quite easy and straightforward. Like when it got to that point where now our relationship, or rather our union, had to be dissolved officially by the families, and of course the question of are we giving back the bride price came up. Our families, thank God, my parents and his parents are very reasonable people, and they were able to work things out without it being messy. But I have seen situations where people can get really, really petty. They either refuse to cooperate. Some insist that they have to be given back the bride price, and sometimes it even comes with penalties. Like they might say that, you know, she was not a good wife, or she's the one that made the relationship fail, so they feel like they are owed something over and above even the bride price. So people sometimes people ask for such huge amounts of money, and you can imagine with this economy, like not being able to spend your life with the person that you love, with the person that you want to do life with, because they are not in a position to raise a huge amount of money. And even the way it's broken down maybe sometimes does not make sense. Like, why are you paying so much money, you know? It stopped becoming a way to show appreciation or a gift to the bride's family. Now it's become more like a business, and it's really affected many relationships. And it's not then surprising why we have more and more people just choosing to move in together, or even sometimes even get married in secret, because they are sometimes they're pushed, the couples are pushed into a corner. But nobody really wants to get to that place, because at the end of the day, as much as marriage is between two people, especially in African context, it's also about family. Like you want to have a good relationship with your future mother-in-law, father-in-law, but also because maybe you had children with your ex, you want to have what can I use? You want to have a civil also relationship with your ex's family, because at the end of the day, your child is still part of that family. You might have moved on, you might have gotten married, you might have maybe you don't even need to interact with them. But remember, if you had children or a child with your ex and you have a co-parenting relationship, it means that this child will need to have a healthy relationship with your ex's family. And so the best thing, of course, would be if it's done amicably, if that the bride, the dowry thing is done amicably. But what if it cannot be done amicably? What kind of challenges are you setting yourself up for, or how are you going to navigate relating with both sides, the new family and your former family? Try your best and find a very smooth and peaceful way to dissolve those traditional ceremonies, those traditional marriages, because first of all, even in Kenya, when traditional marriages are, they are recognized even by the law, so you can't just get comfortable and say, yeah, but we hadn't done a church wedding, so I don't see the issue with me just moving on with somebody else. Just know that it could present bigger issues later that could affect now your current relationship or marriage that would otherwise have been beautiful with, and it could have blossomed well without having those interferences from your former family. So yeah, so that's what I wanted to talk about today. I don't know. Someone suggested, actually, one of my fans, one of the people that religiously watch my vlog, suggested that I talk about that, and so that's why I'm talking about it. So yeah, so just food for thought. I don't know. Maybe you guys can share with us what your cultures, what are the rules in your cultures, what are some of the challenges that the bride price presents when it comes now to moving on into a new relationship. Cool. So thank you so much for watching. If you have not, please like, please subscribe, please share, comment, and I will catch up with you guys next week. Enjoy your week.